we are, finally, explaining the courses for the Commercial Pilot License, or CPL, the license which is reserved for those of you over 18 years old that allows you to become professionals in commercial aviation. As we saw in the previous tutorial, there are two methods available in order to achieve this title. Let's go step by step and start with the modular course. This course is built for composable modules. Each module ends with the achievement of a qualification or a prerequisite of experience for the next module. We describe the various steps. The first module is the private pilot license, which we have already discussed extensively and allows you to fly for non-commercial purposes. The second module is called hour building. It is not a real training phase, but acts in a way as to allow you to accumulate the necessary experience to have access to the subsequent modules. In this phase, you will have to reach a total of 150 hours of flight, adding the experience accumulated during the PPL course. And at least 100 of these hours you will have to have flown by yourself. In jargon, they are called PIC hours because you will be the pilot in command and there will be no instructor on board. It is very important to be followed by a flight school for this phase because theoretically you could also buy 100 hours of flight and fly when and how you want. However, if you want to get prepared for the following stages, it is better to follow the advice of a school and grow in terms of quality, as well as the amount of hours logged, i.e. those written on the flight book or logbook. The aircraft used can be of any type, which are normally the cheapest you can find on the market, since you will have to fly them for almost half of your training. During the hour building module, you'll be able to attend in parallel the theoretical course of the commercial path, which normally lasts between 9 and 12 months and concerns all the subjects you've already attended during the PPL. This course will obviously have a considerably higher level of in-depth study than the private one and is held in English, books, manuals, slides, and exams. It is therefore essential to have a good knowledge of English, not only to speak on the radio, but furthermore to proceed in the professional path. In addition to the radio telephony exam in English, you will also have to take an exam which consists of an interview with an examiner, in which you will have to demonstrate that you have reached a minimum level of knowledge, which is called ICAO Level 4. There will be a dedicated tutorial to this later on. Coming back to the theoretical course, there are two types of courses that you can attend, the CPL or ATPL courses. What's the difference? The ATPL course, Air Transport Pilot License, which we hear so much about and for which we have a dedicated tutorial, includes the CPL theoretical course and also the theoretical course for Instrumental Flight Qualification, or IR, which stands for Instrumental Rating. Now, given the fact that for an aircraft pilot the instrumental rating is necessary because 99% of commercial aircraft fly according to the instrumental rules, IFR, you can deduce that the ATPL course is fundamental to start a career on the fixed wing. So, let's talk about the ATPL course. The theoretical course in the classroom consists of 650 hours of theory. However, you can also follow distance learning courses. Not all schools are certified for distance learning, and as we've already mentioned for the PPL, it is necessary that they rely on certified platforms. Let's now talk a little about the exams. The ATPL theory exams are divided into 13 matters as per the course. You can keep the priority on the matter you prefer and leave the other ones to the end. Or you can mix some difficult matters with other easier ones. Your flight school will give you further suggestions about it due to the fact that it's very subjective. You should also bear in mind that there are 3 limitations. You cannot repeat the same exam more than 4 times, you cannot participate in more than 6 sessions, and you must complete the entire process from the first to the last exam inside of 18 months. So what happens if you breach one of these limits? You will have to retake all the exams from the start. A student can decide to take the theoretical exams in a different place from his residence or from his flight school, but keeping in mind that those who start them there must also finish them in that very same place. In any case, the 3 constraints we have said remain, so be careful to plan the sessions well. Now let's go back to the practical part. Once you've reached 150 total flight hours, of which 100 are PIC, and you finish the theoretical exams, you can activate the next module or the instrumental rating, which is the qualification that allows you to fly in low visibility conditions based solely on what the onboard instruments tell you. Depending on the flight school you will attend, the IR qualification can be carried out partly on the simulator or entirely by plane with single or twin engines. There are several formulas, and the most commonly used one normally tries to exploit a simulator for the basic part. After this, using a single engine for the final part, and then only once the qualification has been obtained, extend the qualification to a twin engine. This is used to optimize costs by using many more hours on simulators or cheaper vehicles and fewer hours on twin engine aircraft, which are more expensive. The last module concerns the preparation for the final CPL exam, which consists of 20 or 30 hours of flight, depending on whether you have obtained the IR or not, of which 5 of these are at night. During this training, you will essentially repeat all the maneuvers of the PPL, but with much more precision, and the instructor will demand that your decision making refers to commercial and not private operations. An important thing about the parallel progression between theory and practice is that once the ATPL exams are finished, you will have 36 months to take the 2 practical exams, the one for the instrumental rating and one for obtaining the commercial pilot license. So you must decide to start the exams when you can plan, even economically, the practical part within 36 months. Each module that we have described can be undertaken in different schools. You can take the PPL in Italy, the hour building in Austria, the theoretical exams in Germany, and the practical part in Sweden. For each module, you will have a European certificate that will give you the freedom to move wherever you see fit, or to interrupt the path for a period of time, perhaps to find the necessary financial resources to continue, or to give priority to other aspects of your private life. The important thing is to put all the pieces together and respect the preparatory steps and prerequisites. The advice we would like to give you is to carry out most of your training in a single school, and not to dilute it into too many years, because it's important to be followed consistently throughout the course and to give continuity to your progress. After completing all the modules and passing the exams, you have finished your training and are a professional pilot. But to make the most of your profession, before obtaining the qualifications on the various types of aircraft, Airbus, Boeing, Cessna, etc., it is the MCC, Multi-Crew Coordination qualification that is required, which you will need to be eligible to fly as a co-pilot in a multiple crew. Without this, you'll only be able to fly from PIC, Pilot in Command, and will never be able to join an airline as a co-pilot. Now, let's move on to the integrated course. In this tutorial, we're not going to explain the integrated CPL courses, which are those without the instrumental rating, because in the world of the fixed wing, as we've already said, they do not make sense. Instead, let's explore the integrated ATP IR course, which includes the ATPL theory, the practical part, CPL, commercial pilot license, the IR, instrumental rating, and the MCC, multi-crew coordination course. As we've already explained in the previous tutorial, the integrated courses start immediately at full speed. It is necessary to be certain that you are entering this world to definitely know that you want to become a professional and have the financial resources to complete it all in 36 months. This is the time limit imposed by EASA, and if you exceed it, you'll have to do additional training that the school will then determine depending on your path. You will then start immediately with the theoretical ATPL course, which in this case consists of 750 hours in the classroom, and you will undertake the subject specifically in English and with other students who may have already done some experience in the world of aviation. Some schools, to overcome this gap between students, organize preparation courses so as to standardize the level of classes. The theoretical exams take place in the same way as those for the integrated course, because the title acquired will be exactly the same, even if carried out with 2 different paths. You will start to fly immediately, and you will have to carry out the practical part in parallel with the theoretical part. No type of break is included in the package. The activity will no longer be divided into modules, but will be a continuous course, coordinated by the school without intermediate qualifications. If you decide to change schools, your experience will only be recognized if the new school accepts the standards achieved in the previous school. The total number of flight hours is 195, which will also include the instrumental training, simulator, and twin-engine flight parts. As we mentioned earlier, there are also courses with fewer flying hours in order to obtain solely the CPL license without the instrumental rating. But for an airplane pilot, it is a great limitation. Up until now, we've mostly listed the critical points of the integrated path to make you realize how much consistency and assiduous application is required. Obviously, from this course, you will come out with a very high level of preparation, since in 3 years you will have absorbed all the necessary notions without wasting time. You will have immersed yourself in the aeronautical world up to your neck, and you will not have wasted time in any other distractions. At the end of the integrated course, the title you have acquired is the same as that of the modular one. So, if you think that you have the requirements and the stubbornness for this type of course, throw yourself in head first and do not waste time. If you want to evaluate step by step whether this is the right life for you, or you want to take more time to comply with the financial commitments of this course and you don't have time to follow a full-time course, find your way back to modular. The licenses issued after 2014, as we've already described in the PPL license tutorial, have value throughout the European Union, plus other neighbouring countries that have adhered to European standards in the aviation sector, and never expire. It is an acquired qualification, such as a diploma or degree. Of course, if you don't fly for a while, you will need to go back to a flight school and fly with an instructor before you can fly on your own again. As far as costs are concerned, depending on the aircraft used, they can change quite a bit. So, how much does it cost to become a professional airplane pilot? On average, €100,000. Always remember to ask which vehicles you will fly on, and above all the included and excluded costs of the school, because there could be a lot of difference between one quote and another. This tutorial has been very intense and full of notions. We recommend that you look at it at least a couple more times, take notes, and contact us if you still have any doubts. If you have any questions or curiosities, contact us at info@checkbeforeflight.com or refer to the definitions in Wiki Before Flight. Happy landings.